Today we're going to talk about brain health in the sense of environmental enrichment and in terms of how environmental enrichment or environmental deprivation creates a sense of loneliness. And in our society, more loneliness is becoming more and more prevalent. Matter of fact, people report in the last 10 years 3 times increased risks of feeling lonely as they did 10 years ago. It's becoming an epidemic. A matter of fact, it's been testified to the U.S. Committee on Aging that loneliness should be considered an epidemic, same as obesity and cigarette smoking. A matter of fact, reducing your longevity is equal to about smoking 15 cigarettes a day if you're in a lonely situation. Well, what is lonely? It seems as if research says that if you have less than 3 people that you can confide in, less than 3 people that you can feel genuine with, then loneliness becomes more of a potential problem. Older people, of course, are lonely. They've lost their friends, their partners, they've lost spouses. Becomes quite a difficult situation. Younger people also have a high rate of loneliness between the ages of 16 to 24, very high rates of suicide as well. So it is becoming an epidemic. It's established that people that are lonely are known as if they increase the risk of cardiovascular disease, cancer, respiratory illness, even gastrointestinal diseases. So trying to find out how we can reduce that loneliness becomes a critical feature. Chronic loneliness even increases the risk of dementia. Matter of fact, Alzheimer's is twice as more prevalent in lonely people than in non-lonely people. There's a deep sense of emptiness, a lack of control that comes with loneliness. Lonely people feel as if they are alone. Even married people feel as if they're alone. Matter of fact, research tells us that half the married people will document that they do have a lonely feeling. So there's a subjective and an objective component. Objectively, you can say, I'm not alone. I live in a big city full of people. But subjectively, I feel alone because I don't have those 3 connections. So we need to foster relationships with people that are genuine and open, not just a simple good morning, hello, how are you, which is important in the workplace to try to combat this situation and to promote brain health. What happens to people that are alone, they feel as if they're personally being threatened quite easily. If you think about the herd or the tribe situation, the old days you'd be part of a tribe, and in the tribe you have safety. When you're selected out from that tribe or isolated, then you are more of a predator and become more of a victim. The same thing with any animal herds. They feel safety in numbers. So we need to have those special people around us. Our need to be connected is deeply wired with our brains. And in that we have more of a fear and flight situation without that environmental enrichment. So we need to motivate ourselves to have more connectiveness. Our body has triggered responses to increased levels of cortisol and epinephrine, which increases inflammation in the body and increases risks of cancer. Separating ourselves out from the tribe creates a situation where we're feeling like lion food. We need to promote some self-preservation. We need to consider loneliness as an epidemic, as we said before, but we need to think of it as aggressively as we think we should exercise every day. We should communicate with people every day. There's this chronic feedback loop that the more we're alone, the more we want to be alone because we're more threatened by other situations. So what are real situations that we can do? Well, there's a 30-second rule. Just talk to somebody for 30 seconds. If you're on the bus, if you're walking down the street, say good morning, how are you, what a pretty dress you have on, nice weather today. Just even 30 seconds of communication decreases that sense of loneliness. It doesn't give us that deep, meaningful feeling. We use Facebook. Some people say that social media is a problem for loneliness, but you can use Facebook wisely. You can have smaller groups within Facebook that have like book clubs that they discuss things, or particular special interest groups on Facebook where there becomes somewhat of a bond and people tend to be associated with each other. Being a good neighbor creates a social cohesiveness. There's more and more examples in society now where we're trying to create a village experience where now communities are trying to have a town square or a town center. It's found in these small countries, sometimes a small town in Italy, where there's very small mountainous town that people are isolated. They live up to 100 years, 3 times longer than many other people that are there, similar kinds of disease states. Why is that? Because these small communities have a sense of cohesiveness, and the town square creates that. We shouldn't be thinking about how big our garage is or how big our closet is. We should be thinking, well, where's the nearest park? Where's the nearest library? How can we be part of that? Can we throw a dinner party and invite people to come by and socialize with us and talk to us, find out what's going on in their lives? Think about the hunter-gatherer situation. We would hunt in a crowd, hunt in a tribe, cook in a tribe, and eat together. Maybe you're interested in joining a chorus, learning how to dance, join a dance group. A simple thing of reaching out and touching somebody in the back or on their shoulder, say, hey, good morning, how are you? How are you doing today? Makes a big difference. And it's been found that just simple touching increases the level of oxytocin in our blood. It increases the amount of well-being and doesn't let us feel isolated like we're giving a lecture to a large room full of empty chairs.